So, winter is really a time when things are supposed to really slow down. And for homesteaders after garden season, you can really feel like, okay, I can finally rest. And then you get into it and you're thinking, now I need to plan for the next season ahead. Now I need to cook every single meal from scratch and bake all the bread and make all of the holiday things. And there's so much more that can be added on. But this year, I am really trying to lean into seasonal living, and we know that winter means it is time to slow down. So, today I'm going to be talking about three homesteading things that I am not doing this winter and two that I am absolutely going to do. Hey, friends, welcome to the Homestead Challenge. I am Brittany. If you are new here, I'm kind of a crunchy homesteader. I live in a quarter acre in the city, and I just do what I can without stressing, without trying to be perfect, doing what brings me joy and doing what means the most to my family in a pretty busy modern lifestyle. I really like to keep things no pressure here, so I really hope that you kind of like those vibes and you will fit in as well. I am so glad that you are here to join us. If you are finding me on YouTube, this is actually episode 164 of the Homestead Challenge podcast. So we've been around for a long time, but now I'm finally getting to add this onto video. So those of you who are listening, make sure you come over to YouTube and subscribe if that is your thing. And as always, all of my episodes will also be available wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it might be. But I'm so excited to finally see you face to face and hopefully get a little bit more interaction over here on YouTube if that's where you're listening. So let's just get into it. The first thing that I am not doing this year, I say this, you should hold me accountable, is that I am not going to be buying a ton of seeds or starting every single seed right in January. So right in January, a ton of homesteading content comes out. I actually live in Northeast Ohio, so for the most part, there's not a lot that I really need to be starting in January. And in the past, I have done that, and it's just not the right thing to do where I live. So make sure you're following your zone whenever you're watching people on YouTube videos like this one and really seeing when you actually need to be starting your seeds. But also, right now, if you're watching this live time, it's Black Friday week. So there's a lot of seed sales, and I may or may not have gotten the Baker Creek catalog in the mail, and I really want to buy everything. But I know I don't have a lot of space, so I cannot buy all of the strange varieties of everything. I need to buy what we'll actually use, eat, and love. So I am buying some of their unique flower varieties because honestly, flowers in my garden just bring me so much joy, even if they don't necessarily um, give us food to eat. A lot of the flowers that I grow do bring us herbal medicine, which is pretty cool. So I'm keeping it very, very small this year. I have so many seeds left over from last year. I'm just going to use them. I know that after many years, the seeds can kind of go down in quality, but truly, I think that if they're just a couple years to last year old, that it's not a problem whatsoever. So I'm trying to rein it in this year. You should probably do the same. But of course, if you're new and you need all of your seeds, Black Friday is a great time to buy them at a lot of places. But I am currently probably needing to rein it in a little bit. I have drawers and binders full of seeds. So something else that I'm not doing that I have done in the past is really stocking my pantry, like it's a prepper pantry or something. I have built up a little bit of space. I live in a small house. I do, though, have a basement, which is very blessed to have this space. And so I have my pantry stuff on one giant Costco shelf in the basement. And then, of course, I have a small pantry up here in my kitchen. And if it doesn't fit on those two, I kind of need to be done with it because I'm also a very visual organizer. So if I don't see the stuff, then I forget that I have it and I don't use it, which is not okay. My camera stopped recording halfway through. Hopefully, we are back on track. But as I was saying, my pantry, I'm not prepper stocking this year. I'm using up what I have. And actually, in the past couple podcast episodes, I've been talking about using up what you have in a pantry challenge to really save money before Christmas. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to have all of the relevant podcasts below over in the description, as well as in the show notes if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because there's a lot that I'm going to be talking about today. But truly, of course, I understand in the homesteading world, we really get into this prepper mindset and we want to kind of hoard what we can. And of course, when you have deals, you stock up. We like to buy in bulk. All of this is great, but if you don't use it, then it's not so great. And I am a person that's actually not so good at using up what I have sometimes. I've gotten so much better, especially about our fresh food. I don't really let produce go to waste anymore very often. It's pretty rare, but the stuff in the basement I really forget about. And of course, I do use stuff past its expiration date, so it's not a huge concern to me, but I have been known to rebuy things pretty often that I don't actually need because I didn't know they were down on the shelf. So, in order to save money, this year I'm using up what I have instead of stocking for more. And then finally, I am also budget related, not going to buy a bunch of new kitchen gadgets this Black Friday or asking for more for Christmas or anything like that. I really think that I have what I need. There's a few things that I think would be fun to have, nice to have, but I can't do it anymore. I don't have the space and I definitely don't have the cash this year. I don't think anybody does, right? So I really got sucked into the world of homesteading. And if you're new here, you can probably relate to all of the cool things that I see people do. And I see people freeze drying and people dehydrating. I see people canning. I see people making their own bread from scratch, grinding their own grain. And I wanted to do it all. And when I started, I tried to do it all. I really did, all at the same time, all with little babies at home. And I burnt out so bad. And I'm still like recovering from this burnout that I had because it was so bad that I just stopped doing everything completely. And slowly over the years, I have incorporated things back into my life, but I truly still have some gadgets from that time that I don't use very often. I made bad decisions and I bought a grain mill, which is beautiful. It's the Nutrimil Harvest. So very beautiful. I love it. I oftentimes put it out on my counter with great hopes that I'll be using it, but I don't like to bake that much. So grinding my own grain is a little ridiculous because I just don't do it that much. That money would have been better spent in a lot of places because I spend a lot of my homesteading time with gardening, with herbal projects. I'm still cooking food from scratch very often. I just don't like baking. If you've been listening for a while, you'd probably know that that's the case. I'm just not a measurer. I don't know what it is. You might be able to tell that I'm a little, I don't know, I go a little willy nilly. So with the organizing and things, I need to see everything. And I just like to go with the flow. I don't like to measure. So baking for me doesn't usually turn out great. I do still like to start a sourdough starter from time to time, but when I'm not feeling it anymore, I just let it go. And so I actually have a whole podcast episode about the kitchen gadgets that I've bought that I don't necessarily regret, but I probably could have waited on until a season when I'm adding on more. Because in this season right now, I cannot add on one more thing. So you may be feeling the same way. Of course, it is always fun to get a new gadget if you have the capacity to add on a new part of your hobby this year. And I have plenty that I could recommend, of course. But um, there was a time when I almost even bought a freeze dryer. Then come to find out, my kids don't like any freeze dried foods whatsoever. I don't love them either. It might be nice if I really had a huge, huge garden and I needed to preserve food fast. So if that's you, that totally makes sense. But if you can probably handle the amount of food that you're producing, might not be necessary. Fun to have, but might not be necessary. So this year, I'm not buying any new gadgets. Hold me to that. So I want to know, what are you not doing this winter? There are so many things I can think of. There's probably a lot more that I could talk about here. But I want to get into things that I really am doing this winter. And they're things that are going to bring me joy, bring me peace, and keep me moving a little slower, as we should be during the winter. So first, I like to create a lot of my herbal products, a lot of my herbal medicines, herbal skincare, all of that during the winter, because I'm just often not doing it in the summer. And when garden season hits in the spring, I get so busy in the garden that I don't have time to kind of tinker with that inside my house. So I really like to kind of follow, I don't want to say the vibes, but I like to keep it whimsical. So if I come across something outside, say pine needles in the winter or something, I might want to bring them inside and create with them. I also tend to get drier skin in the winter. So instead of buying new products, I am using what I have on hand and what I dried from the summer to create a lot of different herbal products. I have a ton on the Homestead Challenge blog you can check out, from hand salves to face serums, bath products, bath salts, even bath bombs, which are not my favorite to make, but it's kind of like baking. You have to have very specific measurements for a bath bomb. That's why I love bath salts, bath teas. That is so much more fun for me to just keep it very whimsical. But I just think you kind of forget sometimes in the winter. Of course, maybe with the medicines and making herbal teas, um, needing fire cider or things that you might need for your family, you'll know right away. But I like to create also things that I'll have on hand really throughout the whole year, including all of those skincare products, because it's stuff that you're kind of stuck inside making. And it's also a way to really bring back your love of the garden even during the winter. So I try to, instead of creating everything over the summer when I'm already overwhelmed, I grab any kind of like flowers like calendula, echinacea, chamomile, things that I grow out in the garden, and I dry them so that way this winter I have them to play around with. Of course, if you didn't do that this year and you still want to play, don't worry. I started off in a rental house. I did not have room to grow any of that, so I bought it all. I bought it all from Star West Botanicals and Mountain Rose Herbs and Frontier Co-op. Those are my three favorite places. And I created with those dried herbs that I purchased. So to get started, you don't have to wait a whole nother year to garden. There are so many different ways that you can get started with herbs right now if that's something that you're interested in. And then next, something else that I am definitely doing this winter is still preserving. So right when the end of garden season hits, I get a little um burnt out on the garden. I still haven't even cleaned up my garden yet. There's just like dead tomatoes. Like it's practically snowing. It's frosted this morning. Um, we'll see if I get to it. It's probably better that I clear out some space. Spring me will thank me if we have a nice day, but I get a little burnt out. So I actually don't do all of my preserving during that major harvest season. I do preserve what I can in easy ways like drying and freezing, but now I have a ton of frozen tomatoes I still need to deal with. So I'm going to be preserving all of those. This year, I was actually really good about putting away my herbs, but in past years, I've definitely had drying racks hanging all over the place of different herbs for months and months, and then I had to throw some away because they got dusty. Ugh. So don't let that happen to you. Deal with anything that you still need to kind of clean up over the winter season before they get dusty, like mine did. That was gross, but it is what it is. So I am so thankful that I already got those put away. Then I can do my fun herbal crafting. And now I can my tomatoes any way I want. And I can have a little bit more time to do it and not feel so stressed and not have to worry about warming up my kitchen. Because if you've canned before, you know that if you can something for a while, your stove's on for a while, it can get really hot in the summer. So sometimes I really enjoy canning over the winter a little bit more. So there you have it. That's just a few things that I am not doing this year and a few things that I am. I am truly leaning into what brings me the most joy in this season of life, what makes the biggest impact for my family, and I hope that you will too. I would love to know in the comments, what are you not doing and what are you focusing on right now? Let me know in the comments. You can also comment if you're on the podcast as well. I would love to hear from you. If you're over on YouTube, hit subscribe. If you're on the podcast, follow along. Thank you so much for being here on this journey. I am very excited to start out with some YouTube videos. Give me some grace on this first one back. Until next time, friends, thanks for listening.